change to your screen.
Yep, no problem.
So we're going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone, and hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. And we are going to enjoy a fantastic 33 lap race here at Monza. And luckily, I've been joined by a very legendary commentator that I've worked alongside for many a broadcast. His name is Rob G. Barker. Good evening, Rob G. Welcome. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen and ladies of the YouTubes this evening, and welcome in, Flo. Thank you for the lovely introduction. Yeah, we're at Monza this afternoon, this evening, and the weather's looking good out there, and grid is filling up quite nicely, Sean.
Yes, it certainly is. We have got 14 fantastic drivers. 13 fantastic drivers drafted in for race 2. We did just see a fantastic race in race 1, and it was a very tight finish between the top 3 drivers. So looking for more of the same here, Rob.
Yeah, Monza's always a circuit for actions. It's one of the most iconic circuits in the world. Of course, 3.5 miles, 5.7 kilometers on the motorcycle circuit, 3.6 miles for the road. Last iteration of Monza in 2010 with some new profiled corners, but always full of action and plenty of overtaking opportunities as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the drivers will be put through their paces of roughly about 100 miles of tarmac, and of course this circuit labelled as the Temple of Speed, and labelled as Temple of Speed for a good reason, Rob. Speeds of up to nearly 170 miles per hour, and lots of sharp braking zones, and certainly lots of racing action.
Yeah, obviously Monza, historically famous for its curva parabolica, the final corner exiting to the home straight to finish up the lap. Turn 1, always an exciting start of the race, especially in the GT3 Slipstream City down to turn 1. Prima variante, and incidents can happen. We've seen plenty over the course of our commentary careers, and probably as well our driving careers. But yeah, got to be very careful into turn 1, or your race could be made or ended. Yes,
indeed. Yeah, key parts of the circuit, as we just see the Italian driver there in the Audi go all kinds of sideways out of the second chicane there. But yeah, certainly the two important parts, I'd say, of Monza, certainly the 2 chicanes, and expect to see many overtakes down the back straight across the start-finish line as well. So really looking forward to this, Rob, and certainly we've got some fantastic drivers on show. And yeah, it could literally go either way between many of the drivers out there. So we can quickly take you through the grid, and at the moment we're on board with CWM Storm Pacer. He's using the BMW M6 car, and then we have got Arix Yavi, and yeah, certainly Arix, a very fast team. Did witness their shenanigans in the first race. I do believe they managed to get was it a P3, P4? I can't remember. I think it was P4 actually, but yeah, certainly did fantastically well in the first race. Then we got the GT Finland racing team. wouldn't know where to start when it comes to the pronunciation of his name, but we'll call him the Flying Finn for now. Sporting that GT Finland Racers BMW livery. Then we got Legiside Music, the American, in the Audi there. Then we got Liam Matt Urso in the Porsche 911, car number 41. Then we got Resistance Italia. He is in the Nissan GTR, car number 25. Matthew Wrightson in the Porsche 911 car number 28. Let's hope he doesn't drive like a Skoda. But yeah, very interesting livery there. Pokemon as well. And just coming across the line, Storm Pacer 1 minute 48.8. On pole position, we've got Javi with that 1 minute 47.4. So already starting to get the hammer down and put in some flying laps in, Rob.
Yeah, just looking at the gaps back from the P1, which is currently a 147.418, which is an absolutely astonishing lap from Javi the Brit, and then just 0.8 of a second back into P2. Resistance takes that Nissan GTR up into P2, just 400ths of a second, 4,000ths of a second back to the Flying Finn of the car number 92. 3 further tenths of a second back to Matt, with almost 1.5 tenths back to Storm Pacer. The drivers on their second lap, front runner at the moment. Next over the line will be Storm Pacer. He's making his way towards Ascari for the second flying lap. He's on the racing soft tyres. He has a little bit under half tank of fuel, so absolutely burning through the fuel, get the car nice and light, and he is a couple of tenths up through sector 2. So I don't know if you are still on board, but we'll stay on board with Storm Pacer as he makes his way up to Curva Parabolica for the this will be second flying lap. We're looking for a super clean exit here. Careful not to run too wide on exit. You can invalidate your lap and also potentially hit that sausage curb, which can be quite punishing. Flawed. He does improve. It's a 0.4 of a second. It's a 148.4.
But meanwhile, Liam moving up into P2 with that 1 minute 48 flat. 6.5 tenths off of the current leader, that is Javi. Just coming across the line now, doesn't improve there. In fact, maybe was an outlap there. So will be on his hot lap now, but with a comfortable lead on pole position for the time being.
Yes, Cesaro making his way around the final corner, currently standing in P10 with a 151 flat. He does improve just a tenth of a second improvement, so it's a 150.9. He will stay in 10th. Oh, massive improvements from the Italian, 149.7, and that will pop him up into P10, stealing that spot.
Yes, and we've got a new driver into P2. I do believe his name was Dutra. What flag is that? Is that Uruguay? Oh god, yeah, I'm not very good with my flags.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not the best with the flags, but I will find that one out for you.
But yeah, currently just over 2 tenths behind the current pole sitter. Has gone a little bit faster through sector 1. We'll see if he can improve for the rest of the lap. But setting a 1 minute 47.6 on his third lap there. We do have currently 7.5 minutes left of qualifying, so plenty of time to set the pace as the Finn goes up into P3, 1 minute 47.803, 1.5 tenths down on P2 that we was on board with. So starting to hot up in qualifying as we saw, a little bit of sideways action out of the first chicane. But we'll hope he doesn't lose too much time throughout the rest of the lap. Trying to find another driver on board coming across the line. We may have missed one. But yeah, certainly showing some good early pace, certainly between the top three. We'll see if anyone else can join the party as BAR Tia Servo moves up into P9 with a 1 minute 48.9.
Yeah, can confirm, Floor, that the P2 flank position. The P2 driver currently, the flag is a Uruguayan flag. So the Uruguayan driver up into P2. Fastest lap so far is a 1:47.5, besting his previous by a little over a tenth of a second. But looks comfortable in P2 at the minute, 3.5 tenths back from Javi, who set his fastest lap on lap 4, the 1:47.1. That is our current pole time.
Yeah, went slightly quicker on lap 4 there. Good spot there, Rob. And Rob, you got to be quite impressed with me, you know. That was maybe a guess, but it was a good guess though, wasn't it?
Well, it was better than a good guess. It was actually correct. So.
Yes. I was even impressed by myself. So, Smoky Dog, welcome, or Smoke Dog even, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome everyone in chat as well. Hopefully you do enjoy the coverage from myself, Floor Genius Gaming, and the awesome Rob G. Barker joining me as co-hosts as well. So, yeah, we will try and get you through the next hour and a half of this coverage. Of course, there is a 33 lap race here at Monza. First lap will be a formation lap, and then it will be go for the drivers. So really looking forward to this, but certainly business is not done in qualifying. We've got 5 minutes to go, so we'll see if there's going to be any movers or shakers, but yeah, certainly pretty close right now, just a second separating the top 5 drivers, so this could go right to the wire, Rob.
Yeah, and it definitely will, although the 1 minute 47.1 pole lap, that is some lap around here, Floor, so it's going to be a real challenge to knock Javi off that leaderboard at the moment. He's not going very well this lap round, lost a significant amount of time through sector 2. With a few minutes left to do, and a couple of people are actually doing a medium run short. Javi is now 2 tenths purple on a set of medium tyres, like just making his way through a scar. He gets a good clean exit. Is he going to set the pole lap on a set of mediums?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, we're on board with P3 right now. Doesn't improve, 3 tenths down on his current best, will remain in P3 for the time being, but yeah, interesting to see if Javi can extend his lead at the top of the grid. Just about to come across the line now. Yes, he does. Wow. By 5.5 tenths. First driver to set a sub 1 minute 47 time, and absolutely smash it actually, because a 1 minute 46.6, 8 tenths, nearly 9 tenths quicker than current P2 driver, the Uruguayan, who is just entering the last sector now. So we oh no, he's weaving, does suggest that he's ruined his lap and looking to go again, but he will have to make it count fairly shortly, because we have now got 3 minutes left, so potentially 2 laps remaining for the drivers.
Yeah, it's coming towards the business end of this qualifying session. I just have to reiterate, what a phenomenal qualifying lap there from Javi on the medium tyres as well, managing to set 146.4, head and shoulders above at the minute on the medium compound tyre. Next over the line will be the Flying Fiend in P3, car number 92.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, just about to come around a Parabolica now, and nice tidy line out the exit. Beautiful. And not going to be quite, no, unfortunately. But he will have at least one more attempt, maybe two, actually. As we ride aboard with Chica, coming in P7, didn't improve his time. So again, it's back to the drawing board for him as we look on board with two other drivers. No. So pretty much the last chance saloon for many of the drivers. We go on board with the Frenchman now. Currently in P11, does improve by 4.5 tenths of a second there. Still remains in P11 though. Yeah,
towards the business end now, mate.
Yeah,
we're going to be making the last-ditch attempts. It looks like Xavi has called it a day. Happy with his lap, and if I could do a 146.6 on a set of medium tyres, I think I'd be more than happy with my lap as well. So, do see BAR going over the line. Didn't improve, unfortunately. We are on board with the Uruguayan driver at the minute. Is he going to improve his time? No, 2.5 tenths down. Next over the line will be the Flying Finn, but he's already a 1 second deficit as he makes his way through Ascari. Car is looking all sorts of sideways. He's opted for the medium tyre. Following that, flawed, it will be Chica over the line. Next, has he improved through Ascari? Well, he won't improve anymore because he has picked up a 0.5 for a track limit excursion.
Yeah, indeed he has, yeah. So on board with the Finn now. Did he get... No, he didn't really get a good exit out of the last turn there. 1.3 seconds down. I do believe this will be the last lap. There is 20 seconds left of the countdown. I do believe they will have enough time to do one final lap. But yeah, certainly. Oh, Storm Pacer up into P4. Just breached the 1 minute 48. 1 minute 47.994. Moves up into P4, Rob.
Yeah, good lap there, setting the soft tyre. However, it's a fresh set and there's not much fuel left in the tank, so the cars are nice and light, and picks up a 1 second penalty for his endeavours this lap, so that will be his qualifying session done. Best of the session, lap 8 as a 147.994, which means he will start P4 unless anybody can push him off that spot. We've got a lot of drivers heading round for the last laps. The checkered flag is out.
Oh, he's gone wide.
No improvements there so far.
No, the costly final corner for the Uruguayan there. 1 tenth down on his previous best. So he will remain in P2 for the time being, but has the Flying Finn... I was just about to say, has the Flying Finn got something to say about that? Well, he's just picked up a 1 second penalty, so that was his response to the Uruguayan, and will remain in P3. So have we got any more drivers getting close to the finish line?
Yeah, Chica is making his way up to Parabolica, but he has just served a 0.5, so probably won't improve on this lap, as we see Storm Pacer also serving a penalty. And I can see one of the arrows on the minimap actually facing the wrong way. That is Matthew Wrightson. He's had a bit of an off there through Ascari, car facing the wrong way. So hazard a guess, flawed. That will be your starting grid for this evening's race. Xavi out on top with an absolutely barnstorming lap of a 146.642, nearly 9 tenths of a second over P2. What a lap.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic driving there, and showing a true masterclass in qualifying. Can he take it over to the race? We will wait and see, but let's just quickly have a look at the classified qualifying results. And yes, confirmed there, Xavi gets pole position with that storming 1 minute 46.642, which is near enough 9/10 lead over the Uruguayan in P2, driving the AMG. 1 minute 47.5 for him. Then we have I still don't know how to pronounce his name, Rob.
In P3?
In P3, yeah.
As Beetlejuice named after a star.
I mean, that would sound better, to be fair. I mean, no offence if we have offended anyone there, but Beetlejuice would go down swimmingly there, I have to say. 1 minute 47.803 for him. Then we got Storm Pacer with P4, Liam Turso in P5 with Resistance in P6. Then we got Tia Servo in P7, Chica in P8. With Matthew Wrightson in P9, and qualifying in the top 10 is a Legicide with that 1 minute 49.3. Then we got the Frenchman in Le Musashi in P11, and rounding up the grid is the American in Cesaru. He will have a lot of work to do from the back of the grid. So, I mean, Rob, I know you're quite new to ERF and to perhaps some of these drivers, but any early predictions? Do you think Javi is looking all too confident and will grab the win, or do you think there will be any surprises?
Well, the beautiful thing about Monza is it can always kick up a storm. Obviously, turn one, the drivers are going to be very, very close, tight, and going to want to make that move as early as possible. But if you just go on the qualifying results, that is an incredibly quick lap, which is going to be difficult to... Well, if you can do that all race, it's going to be very difficult to catch that driver. It's phenomenal time in the 458 as well, which is not one of my favourite cars, but it is a very nice car.
Yes, indeed. And I have to say, Rob, I'm very, very impressed with the car liveries, and especially made for this ERF season, and. Yeah, I certainly will be looking out for the DHL team livery. I'm hoping they will send it, Rob. That is car number 41, the Porsche 911, and I will get him on board. Oh, no, we won't, because he's in the pit, so we will come back to him in the race. But Javi definitely looking very solid in quali, but anything can happen in the race. Mechanical damage is on, so only takes one mistake and your race is history. Just to allow everyone to know, there is a mandatory pit stop enforced for the race. So basically, the drivers won't need to take fuel on board, but they do need to change their tyres. And BOP is turned off, but BOP is ERF's own BOP system. Apparently, Distinct Philo apparently is responsible for that to make sure that the cars are very, very evenly matched. So we'll see what type of differences the cars have got, really, Rob, because if they're evenly matched, then it is all down to car setup from the drivers and who can get the most out of the corners, right?
Yeah, car setup is going to be quite important. What you have to remember with these kind of races, they are very long, so concentration will play a pivotal role in this race. You and I know ourselves, after 45 minutes of racing, it can start to get a little bit wary. And obviously this race is up to an hour long. We're not scared of an hour-long race ourselves, but concentration will play a really important factor in this one.
Yes, indeed. So I'm not 100% sure what the ruling is in terms of safety car. Now, hopefully it's not going to be anything like the last round at the Nürburgring 24-hour layout and 24-hour race, because there was like a safety car like every 2 laps or something. So we're hoping it's not going to come down to that. But I believe on that race, it was required that 3 or more drivers had to have mechanical damage on the circuit to bring out the safety car. So, but with Monza being a bit shorter and less, I would say less risky. I don't know if that is me cursing the drivers right now, but certainly 2 very different circuits and a lot more faster straights on Monza. So we're hoping it's not going to come down to that, and we get to see some very exciting and enthralling races. And like I say, 33 laps at Monza, so we've got a lot of action to cover here, Rob. Right. So we're just waiting for the drivers to get their final practice laps in. And as mentioned, it's a 33 lap race here at Monza with a formation lap as well. That means that certainly drivers need to be wary that the tyres will be a little bit cold at the start, and so too with the brakes. So we'll need to be careful when they're going into the first chicane in particular. So we'll see. We'll see how aggressive or not aggressive the drivers are at the start of the race. But yeah, certainly just looking on board with Javi, he does look like a man on a mission, and yeah, I'm very impressed, Rob.
Yeah, it's apologies for that momentary lapse in mic there. My stream deck decided to just all of a sudden spring into life and put all of my audio on mute, so apologies for that. I did say, Floyd, noticed in the chat there, it looks like the pit window will fall between laps 15 and 20. Which you can just saw in the rules say 15 to 20 for the mandatory pit window, where the drivers will need to get into the box, get a fresh set of tyres and no fuel, I believe was the...
Oh, I don't know if Rob's having slight issues with his stream deck right now, but he has gone AWOL. Oh no, I think I might hear him again. There he is. So
the lights are about to go.
Yes, it does seem like it. Yeah, the stewards are just getting their final messages across to the drivers, and yeah, really looking forward to this. As I said, Rob, there will be a formation lap to precede this race, so don't get too excited at the start of this grid start. But yeah, that obviously gives enough time for the drivers to gather their thoughts and prepare some sort of strategy on...
Flo, can we... sorry, apologies, I don't know if you have control over this, but can we remove the spotter's guide?
Okay, I'm not in control of this. That'll be down to the production team.
Okay.
I would imagine that all the cars now will be imprinted in your mind now, guys. So
there you go, Smokey. Your request has been answered. Long enough for you to admire the liveries, and they are some absolutely stunning liveries. I'm not going to lie.
And there we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. So drivers are lined up in grid order. And yeah, remembering, guys, that there is a formation lap and there will be a particular speed limit for the drivers. And I do believe they need to keep within 2 car lengths of each other as well, depending on, you know, lag spikes and stuff. So Javi will lead the drivers away. And just a quick reminder of the order of the drivers. So we have Javi on pole position, driving the Arix Racing 458 Italia car. Then we've got the Uruguayan in RW Blover. He's driving the Mercedes AMG GT3 car. I really like that livery, actually. Very, very clean.
Yeah, stunning. Very nice.
Beautiful. And then we've got the GT Finland Racers team, car number 92. in the BMW M6, starting from P3. Got Storm Pacer in P4, also in the BMW, with a little bit more of a colourful car there, but all the same, still a beautiful livery, and sporting some pink rims as well, just to try and put off any of the drivers. I like that, actually. Then we got Liam in P5. He will be looking to send it in that Porsche 911 RSR car. Car number 41. Resistance will be starting from P6, the all-Italian team driving the Nissan GTR car number 25 car. Then we got Tia Servo starting from P7, just behind his fellow countryman. Then we got Chica starting from P8. Matthew Wrightson in P9, as I desperately try to search the camera. There we go. Sporting the Pokemon livery of the Porsche 911. Then we got Legiside Music starting in P10 for the Audi R8 car. Then the Frenchman in Le Musashi, and I'm sure I'm going to be absolutely butchering these names, guys, so apologies for that. But yeah, also in the AMG, we've got Jerome in P12. Oh, okay, so are they same team? Because that's the same livery, isn't it? I'm not sure. We will debate this.
Numbers, I will check.
Yeah, we'll debate this a little bit later on as the drivers now start to form up a queue to start the race here at Monza, round 3 of the ERF GT Challenge Cup. And it's go, go, go! And Javi with a lightning start. Blover will be trying to hold off the Finn in P3, who looked like he got a good line, but actually takes it pretty casually through. It's a very, very clean start from all the drivers, which is good to see. Although we have got two side by side fighting for that P6 position. Storm Pacer, P6 at the moment, ahead of Matthew Wrightson, who is looking to challenge him through Curva Grande, and he's starting to bunch up a little bit between Wrightson and Pacer. I think Pacer, oh, it goes wide. I think car number 25 goes wide, and we need to have a look at the replay there. Big moment into the second chicane. Trying to find the right camera here.
Yeah, it's driver number 25, Sean. Yeah, just caused a little bit too much of the curve, and it stuck him into the kit litter on exit. He's done the right thing. He's allowed all the drivers are allowed through. So nice to see a bit of driver etiquette there, allowing the drivers through and not committing some sort of dangerous re-entry onto the circuit. But yeah, car number 25 now 5 seconds off the back of the grid after that incident.
And so, it's Jerome that's gone wide as well, out of Ascari there. So he was battling with the Audi driver going into the break. There's contact, and that sends the German wide into the kitty litter and sends him down the grid. And I would imagine there'll be a few stewards' inquiries after this race, that's for sure, Rob.
Yeah, it's definitely not one for me to comment on, but yeah, I think the stewards will probably be having a look at that. There's a lot of close little battles going on. One in particular into turn 1. Matt on the inside of Chica gets the move done, but that outside will become the inside. There is a bollard in the middle of the road in turn number 2, which the drivers are having to avoid, but all very close at the moment. But out in front is Javi, 0.5 of a second to the good.
Yeah, it's all kicking off right now. Yeah, we are talking just under 0.2 of a second separating the top 2 drivers. Javi is under all sorts of pressure from the Uruguayan. This is going to get rather tasty, I suspect, but there are a few battles going on track at the minute. There is a 1 second gap between Liam and Matthew for P4 and 5 respectively, but Chica even, is very close to Matthew and looking to use that slipstream up the hill and up to Ascari. Yeah, he's not going to make it work for now, but that will put him in the fight for P5, Rob.
Indeed, yeah, just keeping an eye on a couple of these battles that are starting to heat up. It is Blover in P2 at the minute. He's starting to pile on the pressure, and Xavi was incredibly fast in the qualifying session, but he's had a couple of itchy moments, or scary moments, particularly through the Lesmos, the rear end of that Ferrari stepping out on him, which has closed that gap right up. He's now 2.5 tenths of a second. Will Blover look to make a move into turn 1? He's closing. He has a peak. No, opts to back out on this time around, but yeah, that battle for P1, P2 is getting very, 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 very close indeed. Oh, there's contact into turn 1, flawed.
Oh, yeah, that was the Send It driver in Liam. And then just looking back on the replay, it does look like maybe just got the brakes too late. Oh no, there's contact. No, there was contact with the car number 38 Porsche driver. And that sent him sideways there. And yeah, a little bit messy into turn 1. Not going to lie there. Can easily be done as the Audi driver goes wide. In Tia Servo there. Let's have a look at the replay. This my fingers are getting very tired here, just clicking the replay button right now. But oh, very messy. It looked like the Porsche driver just straddled the sausage there and inevitably hit the Audi driver on the outside, and that sent him out wide. So yeah, all kicking off right now here, Rob.
Yeah, I just caught the back end of that one as we were watching live. The battle between P1 P2 is still not over, and Blover might be in a position here with a good exit, might be in a position to make a move up to turn 1. They come round the Parabolica 2/10 of a second apart. Slipstream is strong, and he does set the fastest lap of the race as well with a 1:47.934. That gap is now down to under 1/10 of a second. Surely he's going to slip one up the inside and make a move into P1. He does pull to the right hand side, and that AMG outside becomes inside, and Xavi comes off the corner. Thankfully, Blover pushes that bollard out, off the circuit. The marshal's not doing the best of jobs removing that obstacle, but almost there, flawed. We nearly had a change of hands up for P1.
Yes, indeed. Couldn't get any closer, really, could it? Between the two drivers side by side into turn 1, but no contact was the main thing. And yeah. Oh, Matthew Wrightson, mechanical damage, I believe. I don't know if.
Yeah, he's got a bit of front aero damage as Matt, and Cesaro just flicking through there. Cesaro was facing the wrong way, coming into, let me just get my bearings, into turn number 3. So I think he had a little excursion. He's down 14 seconds. He's got a lot of damage, front, rear, and that right rear wheel, carrying quite a substantial amount of damage there. So Matt is going very, very slow.
Oh,
not sure what's
yeah,
going.
no, FCY, is that a virtual safety, is it? It seems like all the drivers are slowing up to around 75 miles per hour right now. So
Cesaro certainly isn't. He's absolutely flat out. Oh no, I think he's got the message. He was absolutely flying.
Yeah, so we've got front bumper damage to Masashi in the car number 55 AMG car. We've got Legiside with rear bumper damage. Cesaro, as you mentioned, with both front and rear damage. And oh yeah, and Matthew Wrightson, of course, with both front and rear bumper damage. So yeah, that means that the cars with the damage get to then repair the car, and it's up to the stewards to restart the race under race conditions. So yeah, it's just really...
Time for a breather then, Floyd. Now the VC is undeployed. It would be a good time to run through the grid order. So we do have Xavi out in front, qualified pole, still out in front. Blover in P2. Making moves early on in this one, slots himself up to P2 and really having a good battle with Xavi. The race is now neutralised, so about 13 seconds back. Beetlejuice, the flying Finn in car number 92, and it's green. The race has restarted. We will continue to go through a Chica in P4, Storm Pacer in P5, in the number 57 BMW. It is Liam in P6, and the Porsche 911 number 41.
Rob, we're going to have to cut you off there because they went side by side, P1 and P2. The Uruguayan was shown the outside line, so Xavi, of course, was going to be favourites going through Lesmo 1 and 2. But, of course, the Uruguayan has got the slipstream to the British driver in Xavi in the 458 Italia car. So, yeah, it does seem like... certainly the top two, Rob, is certainly going to go right to the wire.
Yeah, worth noting, Floyd, there is an offsetting tyre strategy between the two drivers. Xavi opted for the medium, and he did set the fastest lap in quali on the medium. But yeah, Xavi on the medium, Blover in P2 on the racing soft.
Yes, indeed. I mean, so depending on how they've got the car set up, sometimes there's not that much of a difference between the soft and the mediums, even though the softs, technically speaking, should be at least a second to a second and a half a lap quicker, but it really depends on the strengths and weaknesses of the car. Now, of course, we know with the Ferrari that they tend to shred the tyres quite quickly, don't they, being the MR car, as opposed to the AMG that is an FR car. So that could be the reason why he's opted to go for the mediums. Plus, they do last a little bit longer as well. But of course, there is a mandatory pit stop in between the pit window, of course, and they will need to change boots, whether it's the mediums or the soft tyres. So it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, certainly, Rob, I would say that Xavi, if you didn't know what tyres he was using, you would suspect he was on the soft tyres, because he's just gone purple in this lap, and he's setting laps just as fast as the soft runners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely flying. Just worth note, Cesaro just caught him then, just a glimpse of him on pit exit, so he does look like he's been in to repair some damage. We did see him facing the wrong way a little bit earlier on, so obviously carrying a little bit of damage. He's hopped into the pits, he's put a new set of boots on, so racing soft on, and that damage has now been repaired, and out into P10 he goes.
Indeed, and we have got a little bit of a fight brewing for P8, I believe. It is pretty much nose to tail between the Italian in the Audi, and the American in P9, also in the Audi, and a little bit of off-ski there, and there is actually tighter track limits under ERF, where the cars will need to keep the car between the white lines, as opposed to the dodgy track limits that GT7 tends to serve out, especially at Monza. So drivers will need to be careful. I'm not sure how many times they need to cut the white lines before they get a penalty, but yeah, certainly the drivers will need to be all the more careful, though.
You know my opinions on the white line situation. The white lines are there for a reason, and the car should stay in between them. Massive fan of that, to be honest. Looking at Storm Pacer at the minute now, moving up to the Lesmos. He's going to make a move, and he backs out of it. So P4, P5, Flawed. It's been battling like this for a couple of laps now. The gap is all as non-existent through Les Mode 2 they go. A good exit here from the BMW. Could see a potential move up to Ascari. I think he's a little bit far back, and Chica did get a good exit out in front in the AMG, but this battle's not over.
Yeah, indeed. And Chica on a bit of a charge. If you remember, I do believe he qualified P7, P8. So he's moved up a few positions during the race. But yes, he is under all sorts of pressure from the BMW driver of Storm Pacer all over the rear end of that AMG. Goes up the inside on Parabolica and moves up into P4. Although Chica will have the slipstream going down the straight.
Yeah, it was a lovely move up the inside of the Parabolica. He got it done, and he got that car stopped. Chica moving to the outside for turn 1. The outside will become inside, but the move is already done, and he's already passed. Will Storm Pacer put up a rebuttal? He doesn't, and gives Chica that P4. It's a little bit squirrely on exit there for the P4 driver. And this one's going to continue and continue for lap after lap. We are moving ever so closely towards the pit window. Just 6 laps time, the pits will open, and all drivers will need to make a stop.
Oh, I thought Storm Pacer was going to send one up the inside as Chica goes a little bit squirrely out of the exit of the second chicane, but just manages to save the car and keep the car moving forward. But Storm Pacer is not going to give up without a fight, and I would... Oh, we got hazards. What's happened to Chica? That was a weird moment from Chica.
We have also lost Matt as well. He said in the GT7 chat the car has failed on him, so we've got terminal lap 9 for Matt. He has now left the server, left the race, so it will be a DNF.
Oh wow. Yeah, we're down on 2 drivers, Rob. We started with 13, so
yeah, I'm just flicking through to try and find out who that may be.
But yeah, we certainly had a weird moment with Chico as we watched back on the replay there. The hazards came on for a good few seconds, and Storm Pacer just manages to pip Chica to steal his P4 away from him. So I don't know if that was a real issue for Chica or not. But yeah, it made Storm Pacer's job all the more easier to grab that position away from him.
I'm not sure that was the hazards as much as the brake lights coming on there. Maybe he's giving the position back, possibly. I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, odd one there.
Yeah, it was a little bit odd. Yeah, maybe you're right there. It was just an odd place for him to give back the position, and I'm pretty sure Storm Pacer didn't know that he was going to pull aside and let him through. So, yeah, maybe. Good bit of sportsmanship between the 2 drivers, which is always good to see, Rob.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. These races, organising these kind of race events is made a hell of a lot easier when the drivers are respectful of one another. If there is some mild contacts, do the right thing, let the driver through. And I'm sure the stewards as well will take note of the good driving behaviour and sportsmanship when it does come to making decisions on any racing incidents. Hopefully we won't have any, but obviously racing is racing, and mistakes can and do happen. Indeed.
Just cycling through the cameras up and down the grid, and it does look like... I thought Legendside was going to get the move done there. Well, actually, let me have a look back on that, because I didn't quite see... Oh, okay, so... Pull to the side, and is that the GTR coming through? I don't know if he let him through there or not, so maybe there was an incident before that, but it does look like the American let the Italian through, and now side by side gained into Ascari. Oh my god.
Oh, that was a beautiful bit of racing between the 2 drivers there. Absolutely phenomenal, side by side through Ascari, no contact whatsoever, and Legislite gets at the better of the exits. He's now side by side with Resistance and gets the move done up to P10 before Parabolica. Lovely bit of racing between those two there.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic and great to see, Rob. And oh my God, as we see the GTR driver in it's the Italian, isn't it? I'm getting confused there. It looked like he was going up the inside to retake that position away from the American, but as they go into the braking zone into turn one, yeah, the American looks to or he did look like he was going to get a nose up the inside, maybe trying to psych out the I'm getting confused here. Trying to psych out the Italian. No, trying to psych out the American because the Italian is in the GTR. Right, come on, get it right, Floyd.
The clue is in the rear wing, Floyd. There's a lovely Italian flag. I nearly said American. There's a lovely Italian flag either side of that rear wing. As Resistance looks like he's going to get a move done into Lesmo 1. This battle between the two drivers, he's going to and from, chopping and changing between P10 and P11. And the Italian driver back in front, Floyd.
Indeed. And I was just cycling through some of the arrows there because it looked like they were all starting to bunch up down the back straight there. But it looks like Storm Pacer is showing a bit of pace right now, Rob, because he has closed that gap on the Finnish driver in P3 to less than a second. And it does seem like it's closing as we approach the second chicane, so could have a battle for the last step on the podium.
Yeah, Storm Pacer did put in a 147.8 the last time round, which was almost a second quicker than Beetlejuice in P3, so that gap has come down. I must say Beetlejuice's pace is very, very consistent. Last sort of 5 laps, 148.6, 148.8, 148.8, 148.9, so he's not exactly moving slow, but Storm Pacer has definitely decided to put pedal to the metal. He continues to go quicker, and through Ascari that gap is now down to 0.3 of a second. A good exit here up towards Parabolica could see a very similar move to what we've just seen with the drivers at the back of the grid. The gap is now less than 0.1 of a second. Is he going to pop one up the inside? He pulls the car to the right, decides not to make the move. Is this a bit of sensible driving from the BMW driver? Get the slipstream down into turn 1.
Oh, I mean, he was literally on his bumper, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, side by side. 47.7 was the lap last time round for Storm Pacer. And there he goes.
Oh,
up the inside, over the curb. Beautifully done from Storm Pacer up to P3.
beautiful move there. Let's have a look on the replay again. Yeah, that was good spatial awareness from both the drivers, but makes a late move down the inside, and it's as clean as you like, clean as a whistle, and yeah, maybe can now start moving forward, although it had a little bit of a wiggly moment out of the second chicane. That has enabled the Finn to close a gap back in to Storm Pacer. It is currently about half a second of a lap. We do I have noticed the difference in tyres between the Finn and the British driver. The Brit is on the softs and the Finn is on the mediums. But it really depends on the way that the car is set up. It does look like Storm Pacer's got slightly more straight line top speed, or perhaps the acceleration at least. That could be down to the amount of downforce that is applied to the car there. Yeah,
potentially. He's quite a low obviously very high speed circuit, low downforce dependent circuit. Most of the corners are considerably slow. There's no real mid to high speed. There's definitely no real high speed corners. So could be a bit of setup there, but once again, Storm Pacer, he lost a bit of time that lap, Floyd. Maybe it was a little bit of battle, but the last couple of laps have been a 147s. It was a 148.9 last time round, but it was also 149.7 from Beetlejuice. It does go a little bit deep into turn one. That's going to cost him some time, and it's going to allow Storm Pacer to accelerate away. And that gap already, just with one little mistake into turn one, that gap has opened up to 2 seconds, as is the gap between P1 and P2, remaining around 2 seconds for those two drivers.
Yeah,
just
but
having a quick look up and down.
Well, yeah, more interestingly, Rob, though, the gap between P2 and P3, though, is a humongous 16 seconds, though. So certainly the top two in a league of their own. But yeah, we're only halfway through the race at the moment, Rob. So a lot can happen in a short space of time, as it normally does. So they can't count their chickens so far, and will need to keep the pace up. But just cycling through the rest of the grid, Rob, it's looking reasonably spread out. Even the battle for P10 is now just under 2 seconds. So, but the pit window will definitely come into play here, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. And
yeah. Indeed, yeah, pit window is, all the pits will be open on next circulation. The top two drivers are on their 15th lap as Storm Pacer starts his 15th rotation, as does Beetlejuice of the wonderful Monza circuit. So pit window is indeed open, and we will see whether or not the drivers, or when, I should say, when the drivers decide to get in and get their mandatory pit stop out the way. The minute Javi's on an absolute stormer, set in a purple sector 1, that gap has increased up to 2.4 of a second. It does feel like the race has kind of plateaued a little bit. The drivers have kind of found their positions and a little bit of circulation, so the pit window should and hopefully will spice this one back up a bit, Floyd.
Yes, indeed. Well, we knew about Javi's. He's just gone purple through Sector 2. We knew that he has the pace, and whether or not the Uruguayan in P2, whether or not he just didn't quite get the pace or push the car to its very limits in qualifying, who knows? But we do know that Javi is more than capable, and we'll see if he can improve on this lap. It's a good exit out of Parabolica. He was a 10th purple, so can he go quicker? Yes, he can. That is the answer there. Yes, he can. 1 minute 47.165, and yeah, he's extended his lead to the Uruguayan to 3 seconds now, who could only get I say could only, but 147.8, good 7/10 he lost on the last lap.
Yeah, it's quite it's always a challenge to say he could only do a 147.8. it's an absolutely phenomenal lap, but it just goes to show the pace of these drivers up front. Blover in P2, the last 5 laps have all been in the 47s. And he will be set for another 47 if he continues the way he has through Sector 1. Javi out in front. Again, 47s across the board. Just super consistent from these two drivers, and that's why they are quite a huge gap back to P3. Although I will say Storm Pacer, since making those moves and getting that clean bit of air, has really started to put the pressure on, and that gap is coming down. It's not of concern to the two guys up front, but he's definitely making inroads on them. Yes,
indeed, Rob. It does show you how much time drivers do lose when you're battling, which I know that, of course, probably between all the teams, they're all enemies, right? But sometimes, working as a team or making a few allies through the race until maybe the death can kind of improve your race standings. And
below the box, P2 into the box, floored.
Yep, I see him now. Yeah, just diving in. So trying the undercut to Javi, and 3.5 seconds was the gap between the top two. Interestingly, had 50. Oh, he paid some fuel, Rob. I'm sure that wasn't allowed. I may need to get one of the stewards or production to let us know on the ruling on that, but perhaps it was a slight mistake on his behalf, as we just got a message from Legicide that he has mechanical damage, and we can see on the diagram there, it's the front bumper or suspension and the left wheel, I believe. So may have had a bit of an accident, and certainly that would be the case, because there was only 2 seconds gap between the Italian, the P10, and himself. It's now 18.5 seconds, and increasing, to be honest, because of the damage.
Yeah, very punishing track to be carrying any kind of damage. The speed loss through the straights is quite often 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 mile an hour in time loss. And there is a lot of straights here at Monza, very high speed circuit, so that aero damage will need to be repaired, as Legislate does drop into the pits on lap 17, so this will count as his mandatory pit stop. He can get that front end repaired, and he has done, and he's opted for a fresh set of soft tyres, so back out to circulate for the 17th time in P11 is Legislate.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I mean, as you said, Rob, like with so many long straights, damage is it's imperative to get the damage repaired as quickly as possible to not lose so much time. So doing the wise thing there, as we see Chica come into the pits from P5. He had a healthy lead over Liam in P6, just changing the tyres onto a new set of racing soft tyres, and gets out comfortably in front of Liam, who is just coming across the start-finish line. And actually, a bit of a battle brewing for P6 as well, Rob, because Cesaro looks like he's caught to the back end of Liam now, and it's the gap has come down to about half a second. So certainly the pressure will be on Liam, and I'm sure he'll be checking his mirrors left, right and centre to make sure he can keep him behind him. But that Porsche, the AMG, getting ever so close to the Porsche in front, but will remain behind him through the second chicane. But I do sense there could be a few bold manoeuvres coming up very shortly, Rob.
Yeah, this one to probably keep an eye on. It's probably the closest battle out on track at the moment. In fact, it is indeed the closest one we've got at the moment. It's a good exit from Liam, but an even better exit from Cesaro in the AMG. And the gap is coming down as they head up towards Ascari for the 18th time of asking, is there going to be a move into Parabolica, or will we see a similar behaviour that we've seen from some of the other drivers, obviously saving the pass to gain that benefit of slipstream down towards turn 1. Once again, Cesaro's exit is much better, and that gap is now under half a second. It's actually under 0.4 of a second. He's closing. The slipstream is dragging him along. Nearly goes straight into the back of Liam into Parabolica there, takes avoiding action, and that is going to cost him some time, although he does get another very sweet exit, but decides to pit. Lap 18 does Cesaro, so we're not going to get that action into turn 1 that we hope for, but Cesaro into the pits.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, almost catastrophe on the final corner there. Well, luckily the gap between the two of them just big enough that he literally, maybe even skimmed the back bumper of the car in front without actually causing a collision. But yeah, certainly. We'll see what happens between the pair of them as different strategies come to play. Javi, who is leading the race at the moment, he has a healthy 19.9 second advantage to Storm Pacer. Of course, the Uruguayan already making his pit stop. So we'll see what kind of advantage the Uruguayan will have under fresh tyres.
None.
Probably
I'll
none.
answer that question for you. I've just been looking at the numbers to see if there was any undercut advantage, and at the moment, Floyd, once Xavi has stopped, all being well that the stop is good and clean, he will remain the race leader, doing consecutive back-to-back 147.5s. On the fresh tyres, only managed 147.8. But it is a 147.3 this time round, so that gap is up to 24.2 seconds. I think Xavi will be just in front as he makes his stop. This is the final rotation that he has to stop this lap.
I mean, Rob, I was trying to build up the suspense there. I mean, but I think the Uruguayan may have heard your calls then and thought, do you know what, Rob? I will show you. It does improve on his lap 19 there, as you said, 1 minute 47.3 as opposed to Javi's 1 minute 47.597. But still, very, very impressive on, inferior tyre compound, albeit that not too much wear on the tyres, but all the same, Glover has got fresh soft tyres, so we'll be looking to eke out a little bit more time out of that AMG and try to close the gap. And of course, Javi coming into the pits now, so we'll see where he comes out. Surely he will come out just in front of the Uruguayan, but by how much?
And there's only a 4-second gap between Storm Pacer boxes laps. Yeah, I think he will come out just in front. Florida Blover has just got to pit entry and crosses the line at 147.7. So he's pushing and pushing and pushing. He's miles in front. Xavi makes his way into. He's already out of turn 2. Blover just past the pit exit, so it's 7.3 seconds is the deficit to P1. But now that will be every single driver in and out of the pits.
Yeah.
Maybe Musashi number 11 yet to stop.
Just cycling through.
Yeah,
now.
I don't think he stopped, so he will be stopping this lap from P9.
Yeah, I think just to answer your question there, HZ. So Musashi currently in P9 at the moment. He's got a 13.2 second lead over the Italian in P10, who has already stopped. So I would imagine he's going to lose P9 to the Italian, but he should come out in front of the American, who, of course,
he hasn't stopped. So I'm curious whether he took his mandatory pit stop earlier than some of the other guys. But those mediums, it's a lot of wear from what we have been seeing. So I'm wondering whether he's missed the pit window there, Floyd.
Yeah, good point there. Good point. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to when we had the virtual safety car as to who came into the pits to repair their damage. But I do believe 2 of the drivers have left, haven't they? So who was the third?
2 of the drivers did leave.
Yeah. So who was the third driver? That is the question. Maybe it was Musashi.
So it looks like the guy, the quickest of the runners at the minute, Their in-laps and out-laps are around the 56, so about 10-second difference. Shashi, he pitted on lap 15. He did pit at the very beginning of the pit window. Although, I'm not convinced he stopped, Floyd. I don't think he's made pit window there.
Unless he stopped and didn't change his tyres. There is a mandatory pit stop and a mandatory tyre change, more importantly, and maybe he made the mistake of not changing his tyres. I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of, but just to answer your question, there's been 2 DCs, and they were involved in a bit of a collision earlier. I do believe one of them was the German. I'll have to get his name.
Yeah, Matt with the mechanical damage was a forced DNF, and I'm not sure of the other driver that went, because I think he missed a lane.
So I can't find his name. I know it's a German driver, and he said that his wheel disconnected. So I think that's why he left. Jerome. So WCR, is it? No. WOR Jerome. That was who.
And Xavi setting yet another fastest lap of the race. The 1:47.1. That was on his 22nd rotation. We are on lap 23, just 11 laps to go in this one. And the lead is up to 7.3 seconds from Blover in P2. The gap back to Storm Pacer sort of floating around the 14-15 second mark. So Storm Pacer really pulled the gap on Beetlejuice in P4. That gap is opened up to 10.3 seconds. Chica in P5 chasing down Beetlejuice. That gap is 3 seconds. A further 10 seconds back to Liam in P6. And then he's the Italian driver in the car number 22, Tio Serva. He is in P7 with Cesaru in P8, Musashi in P9, Resistance in P10, and Legislide has just been lapped by our race leader on lap 23. Floyd, not too much longer to go.
Yes, indeed, yeah. 11 laps to go. Legiside just getting lapped by the current leader in Javi. Unfortunately, just not having one of them races. It was involved in a very, very good battle with the Italian in P10, but unfortunately, he picked up some damage, which has kind of hindered his race a bit, and really driving for pride right now. But do you know what? He's been reasonably consistent. I've got a little bit of a graphic mess up on my side here, but he's been setting 1 minute 49. So still showing good pace there. As we see more blue flags. Is that because of Glover? I do believe that is the case. 7.5 seconds is the gap now, and Javi. Looking rather comfortable in the final stages of this race, and I'm sure I don't think there is a relaxed stage when it comes to racing, but he can relax a little bit more and not look in his mirrors so much compared to what he was doing in the first half of the race. That's for sure, Rob.
Yeah, comfortable in the lead, 7.6 seconds over P2. I think what's important is what I was saying earlier on, just before the race started, for this is the part of the race where the concentration part comes into play. We know he's got the pace, he's definitely got the consistency on top of that pace. All he needs to do now is keep that head cool, stay in the rhythm, stay in the flow of the circuit, and he will quite comfortably bring this one home if he can manage to do that, of course.
Yes indeed, we will wait and see. We will keep you up to date in all things going on around the circuit. I will say this though, Rob, that it looks like Chica is starting to close in on the Finn. The gap is roughly about 2.6 seconds. He is on a bit of a flyer at the moment. He's currently 0.2 quicker on his personal best, going through Ascari and Sector 2. So yeah, 2.7 seconds is the gap, so I may have jinxed him a little bit there. But on the final corner of Parabolica, see what sort of lap time he can produce. But yeah, there could be something brewing in the final elements of this race as he comes across the line with a 1 minute 48.3 and sets his personal best there, with the Finn with a 1 minute 48.7 on his previous lap. So yeah, very close between P4 and 5. We'll see if anything comes of it in the final 8 laps of the race. But going through the grid now, we will try and keep you inundated of any goings on. Cesaru, does look like Cesaru has dropped back a little bit from the last time we was on board with him. Now he is 7.3 seconds adrift of the Italian, and wasn't he I thought he was on the back of Liam last time that we checked on board with Cesaru. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think he was. We'll see his lap time as he makes his way up towards Parabolic. It was 149.6 laps time range. I think you're right, Ford. I think he was a little bit further forward. We'll see what this lap time is, and that will confirm or deny our suspicions whether he's gone backwards a step. He's not. No. Yeah, he must have been there in the first place. He's got consistent 149. 149 is the last 3 times round. Resistance putting his foot down a little bit on lap 24 is a 148.5 for him. Musashi still in P9, sitting quite comfortably, although he's losing around a second a lap currently to the P10 driver in resistance, so there might be one to keep an eye on. The gap is currently 5.1 tenths of a second, but that might be one brewing in the next few laps or so. The only other real close battle we've got is the one that we fought, as mentioned, between Chica and Beetlejuice for P4, P5. You were right, Floyd, that gap was around 3.5 seconds just. A couple of laps back. It is now down to 2.4 and closing as they make their way through turn 3 up towards the second chicane. So yeah, I think you're right, I think you're right, mate. The next few laps are going to be pretty crucial for Chica and Beetlejuice. He's going to have to do something because Chica is on an absolute charge.
Yes, indeed. Looking at the lap delta, so Chica, 1 minute 48.3. The Finn with a 1 minute 48.8, so he lost half a second in the last lap, and certainly, if Chica can narrow down that gap even further, once he gets into that slipstream, then the Finn will be under all kinds of threats and will make him a little bit twitchy in his seat, I believe, as we come out of Scari is down to 2.2 seconds. So yeah, certainly definitely worth keeping an eye on that one. I was actually looking at Cesaru though, Rob, because looking at his lap delta, he's showing better pace than his actual P8 positioning, because he's hitting consistently 147s. He's hit a couple of 48s, but the Italian in front of him, okay, I stand corrected. He was hitting 48s and 49s, but his previous lap was his previous best, actually, 1 minute 47.898, although he gets a 1 minute 50.3 on this lap. And Cesaru,
all sorts of sideways on that lap, Floyd, for the Italian driver, made his way through Ascari and Parabolica as well. The car really starting to step out on the rear for him, the Audi. that gap is continuing to close. So Cesaro, you are absolutely correct. So he's certainly performing to be a little bit further up the grid in the 47s consistently, and that's, you know, same pace as the front runner, so maybe a little bit of out of position for Cesaro, and as you quite rightly mentioned earlier, maybe not the best qualifying performance for him.
Yeah, I mean, of course, both stints are very important for the drivers, and unfortunate for the American, because he is definitely showing good pace here. But yeah, with 6 laps remaining, if he keeps to this pace, surely we'll at least exchange positions with the Italian, being that the gap is currently about 4.5 seconds. See if the Italian... To be fair to the Italian, it's looking like he's nailed on at least a 1:48 if he gets this exit clean, which he does. So it's gonna be tight. You can see Cesaro just in the background of that camera view, and I think the Italian will be aware of this as well. So he will have to keep it clean. He just rides the curb on the entry to Parabolica there, which I think would have lost him a little bit of time. But comes across the line with a 1:48.6. Cesaro just behind him comes across the line with a 1:47.8. So yeah, that gap is definitely coming down. But let's have a look on board with P5 with Chica. It does look like he's lost a bit of ground to the Finn. It is now 3.2 seconds. And yeah, Chica last 2 laps in the 1:49s. The Finn in sort of the mid 1:48 range, so just starting to pick up his pace a little bit, and Chica not really taking advantage or applying that pressure at the moment.
He's had a couple of bad laps, lap 26, lap 27, best part of a second slower than his previous, but this lap, Floyd, he's going to make his way to the timing beam shortly, and he's 2/10 to the good on his personal best. That will bring him close to a 47. It'll be about a 1:47.1 if he can continue, and that gap is now back down to 2.8. I don't think it's over. I think it's a couple of bad laps, but he's collected himself and he's back in the rhythm. But having said that, Floyd, we are very, very quickly beginning to run out of time if he's going to do anything about that P4 spot.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Time is of the essence, and he will need to be lapping at least, I would say at least half a second to a second a lap quicker to stand any chance of grabbing that P4 away from the Finn, as he came across the line with a 1:48.1. So that is
4/10 of a second, yeah. 4/10 of a second better than Beetlejuice, who did a 1:48.5. But if you look at the last 4 or 5 laps of Beetlejuice's times, they are very, very consistent. So 1:48, middle 1:48. He's lost a 1/10 of a second through sector 1. Unfortunately, I did miss Chica's time through the first sector. But 2.8 is the gap at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking...
It's going to be a challenge. It's definitely going to be a challenge if he wants to make any impressions on that P4 position. He's going to have to get his foot down and get it done sooner rather than later. We are very, very quickly running out of laps, but we will just run you through the order, as Xavi 8.3 seconds in the lead as he makes his way through Prima Variante for the 30th time of asking, and it's a lovely exit as well. Blova in P2, lapping quicker than the leader last time round, but with that gap being up to 8.6 seconds, I don't think, albeit a mistake, I don't think he will have any sort of worries Will Javi, he's well out in front. Storm Pacer, fantastic second part of the race for Storm Pacer. A little bit of a rough start, found himself in the mix in the pack and battling with some other drivers, but as soon as he got that clean air out in P3, he's absolutely run amok over Beetlejuice. 17.8 seconds the gap now between P3 and P4. Keeping an eye on that gap floor between 5 and 4, and it seems to have hit a bit of a plateau. So we've just the 4 laps remaining, or best part of 3 laps remaining, albeit any kind of big mistake. I think this may be your finishing order, but it's never over until it's over, Floyd. So.
No, indeed, and actually, interestingly, the gap is as low as it's ever been now. 2.3 seconds is the gap as we approach Ascari, but yeah, it's just not quite there. He just needs to get within that sort of 1.5 second range to get pulled along in that slipstream. It's just outside of that window there, and it does seem like the Finn is just pulling away down this straight as well, just doing enough just to keep Chica at bay. And yeah, as the Finn comes across the line, and now we just look on board with him now. He sets a 1:48.6. And it was a 1:48.4 for Chica, so he did close a couple of attempts, but it's just not going to be enough, unfortunately, Rob.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough, but never say never. But talking of less than a second and a half to really maximise that slipstream, the Italian driver in P10 Resistance has really been putting the hammer down, a 1:48.1 last time round, and that gap down to Mishashi in P9 is 1.1 seconds. He did a 1:49.7 last time of asking, that was lap 29. So whether he's had a bit of an off or an excursion, but he's well into that slipstream zone now. There's less than a second on exit of Parabolica, and I think this gap is going to be closing. Oh no, it's not. That's an absolute machine of an AMG pulling away just a little bit. But I don't think this one's over. I do not think this one's over.
No, indeed. I mean, yeah, 1 second. He's in the slipstream range. In fact, it is just. Oh yeah, for the time being, then it did actually look like he was closing in on him. But with the slipstream, he should get pulled along. But as you said, that AMG is very, very powerful down the straights, and not giving the GTR any prayers, really.
But the GTR is absolutely awesome through the corners. Look at the gap closed through there. I think what he needs to do is that gap needs to be sort of in the region that it's in now, sort of half a second between the two, and that Mercedes will for sure pull him down the straight, which is what he needs, because just outside the slipstream the Mercedes does look the better car, but through the corners I have to give it to the GTR. It's absolutely hammering over, and he's nearly 0.3 of a second blue, which will put him into the 47s.
Yeah, he's all over the back bumper of the AMG. Gets a bad exit as well. A little bit of contact between the two drivers. Luckily, it was bumper to bumper contact and not side on. But yeah, as close as they can be. And we'll see how the Italian gets on through Parabolica, because it does seem like
get a better exit.
Yeah, it does seem like, up the inside, but has he got the pulling power down the straight? That is the problem. And I mean, they are literally side by side. It would be photo finish time if we was finishing the race right now. But it looks like the AMG's just got a nose in front and able to pull out in front. But the GTR looking to put a nose down the inside as they go side by side through turn 1. And the AMG just managing to keep in front of the GTR driver in resistance. But certainly on this penultimate lap of this round 3 race of the GT Challenge 2024 Cup, this is exciting times for the battle of P9, Rob.
It's definitely one to keep on board. The leader of the race is on the final lap, so they will. This will be the last lap. This is the final lap of the race, but we have to keep on board with this battle between P10, particularly for the broadcast. And I'll just run you through the rest of the grid. Javi out in front, 8.5 seconds to the go. He's on another purple lap. The last lap of the race. He went into the 146s.
Wow.
As the fastest lap of the race has actually gone to Blover in P2, 146.8. Can Javi take that FL on the final lap of the race? He's just making his way up to the timing mark now through sector 2 as he makes entry to Ascari. Feel free to cut in if that battle does continue.
They are literally bumper to bumper, Rob. Now they're going side by side down the straight, heading towards Parabolica. And the Italian trying all sorts to try and get around the AMG, can't quite get it stuck, but going up the inside, getting the better traction out of the final corner. It's just the AMG has that little bit more pulling power down the straight, and it manages to hold him off for the time being as they
I will have to interrupt there, Floyd. I'm so sorry, but Javi is round that final corner and takes the checkered flag. He is your race winner. But back to you, Floyd, for this battle.
Yes, indeed. As we see Blover get a very respectable P2 as well. Congratulations to him. But we'll get back. Okay. Can we look back on what happened here? So going into turn 1 between the two drivers, there's a tiny bit of contact. The GTR up the inside of the AMG driver who spins, goes a little bit loose out the exit and lost a lot of time and traction, and he did actually flash his lights there, not happy with the move from the Italian there.
Storm pace with P3 flawed.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Rob. P3 and final step on the podium goes to Storm Pacer. Congratulations to him. P4 will go to Beetlejuice then, who managed to hold off Chica by 2 seconds. Chica finishes in P5. Then we got Liam Turso coming around going across the start-finish line. And a fight for P7 and 8. We didn't even see the fight between P7 and 8. Cesaro did manage to close the gap, but just not quite enough in time. So P7 for Tiservo and P8 for Cesaro, with P9 looking like it's going to be resistance, barring a huge mistake here. And it does look like, he's going to remain in P9 with Musashi claiming P10 with Legicide music already coming across the checkered line to claim P11. Wow, what a race that was. And yes, agreed, incredible win for Alex Javi with some incredible pace there. We will run you through the results and the fastest lap times. But certainly that was incredible to see. So as confirmed there, Javi, congratulations to him for the race win for his respective team in the 458 Italia, with RW Blover getting a very, very good P2. He actually finished 8.9 seconds adrift of Javi in the end, but did set the fastest lap time with 1 minute 46.859. So showed some amazing pace towards the end there, with Storm Pacer getting a brilliant P3 for him, and really did pull away from the grid once he got past them, with Beetlejuice getting P4. And Chica P5 for him. Liam Turso will get P6 ahead of Tia Servo, which was almost photo finish with Cesaro for the battle for P7, but the Italian gets P7, Cesaro in P8, with Resistance in P9 and Musashi in P10, and Legicide Music gets P11 with 2 DNFs in Matthew Wrightson and Jerome. But yeah, what an absolutely fantastic race that was. And an absolute pleasure, Rob.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. I said the start of the race was very, very respectful between the drivers, minimal contact throughout. Then he kind of plateaued through the middle sector, and we did say we needed that pit window to come. And then after the pit window, those battles really started to spice up. And what a spectacle to end the race there, with a good couple of battles up and down the grid. But congratulations to our race winners, Xavi, P2 podium for Bulova, and Storm Pacer with that final step on the podium. Congratulations, drivers.
Indeed. And I have to say, maybe this is going to be quite an easy answer here, Rob. But who is your driver of the day?
I am actually going to give my driver of the day to the P3 spot in Storm Pacer, because like I said, a bit of a rough start, but once he got through that grid, and he had to carve through the grid as well. Like he was there was battling, but he made his way through, survived those battles, and then once he got some clean air, he really did start to put a number of really, really respectable lap times in. So yeah, driver of the day for me goes to CWM Storm Pacer.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Good choice there. There is Rob's driver of the day there with the pink rims. I think. Did you give it because he's got pink rims, Rob?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so. Yeah. To be honest, there was a lot of great performances up and down the grid, and to be honest, I mean, Rob, I completely forgot about the reading out the. The podium finishes there because of the racing action that proceeded towards the end of the race, which always seems to be the case, isn't it? When you have no time left and you really need to nail down them positions. There was a fantastic fight for P9, and it's really good to see, Rob, as well. It's not just looking at the front runners and seeing how quick they are and how close they can be. It's really good to see drivers fighting it out, even for lowly positions as P9 and P10.
Yeah, we're all. I think it'd be fair to say we're all fans of the same thing, and what we want to see is racing, and good racing, and that's exactly what we got this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are in the world. We got some absolutely fantastic racing up and down.
Indeed. Absolute fantastic scenes here at Monza, and congratulations to the podium runners in their respective teams. And I'm really looking forward to the next event, which will be held in August, I believe, for the Spa 24-hour race, which will, of course, bring the teams back into play. I do believe there will be 3 to 4 drivers per team trying to cover a 24-hour race, and as we know with Spa, Rob, as well, that anything can happen at Spa, and particularly the location and being up in the hills. One part of the track could be dry, another part could be wet, or as we've seen in real life, the mist can form and make it very, very difficult for the drivers.
Yes, big old long circuit is Spa Sector 2 in particular, offering many changes of direction, and very easy to make a mistake at Spa, which can be quite costly. So it'll be a good race, 24 hours as well. Looking forward to that one.